But for me, it came straight back to the point of I needed to clean ship. So what have I done? Right? I had work buildings, right? I had multiple different things, and I've been cleaning that all up. I'm at that point where humble pie, I'm returning the building now, right? And I'm cutting all costs, and I'm going from 50 staff down to 10 staff, right? And I'm shifting it all back so I can get back to the damn charts, because I believe that this is the best skill you can learn in your damn life, right? And I do believe in this market, and I do believe that there's still 100% life-changing money to be made, right? And that for me is just coming through here to just chat to you guys where things are kind of at right now. Okay, but why we should really lock in, stop worrying about what's happened, stop saying that nothing's impossible anymore, and just update ourselves to where the hell the damn market is again, and let's get back at changing our damn lives, right? That is the message today. Okay, let's jump in. Yeah, it's been and again, I'm not gonna lie, the worst trading thing for me was the 10th of October, right? So trading in general that was not the part of me losing so much money, right? Trading has actually been my ability to make money and protect money better than ever, right? It was 10th of October. That was right? That was a whoop that came out of nowhere and really caught me off guard. And then it came me being a lot of altcoins just sitting in my long-term bags, right? Kind of thinking, okay, I can hold them for some time, not really realizing my expenses were still at the same point. Right? So everything was kind of dropping, and then kind of having to use some to kind of fix it, just comfortable. And then it got to a point where if you really want to move forward, right, you have to be light and nimble. So in your lives, what is holding weight on you right now, and what can you cut in this period now to get yourself light and nimble? What can get you ultra focused again? What can get you super locked in again? Right? That is the key today for me, that was specifically the last couple of weeks that I've highly been focusing on, to get back to the love of the game and get back to the damn belief again, and know that you're in the right place, and know that you're doing the right thing. But everything else could also be a lot of weight on your shoulders that are just taking you away from that, right? For me, lighten off, take it all off, and get back to the damn magic of where we have. It's good to be alive. It's good to be here today, right? And it's good for us to have these opportunities again, right? That for me is a big, powerful thing. Okay, lots of love to you all. Let's go. Okay, let's jump in to, yes, good morning. Okay, let's get in. This is my play, guys. This is my play. So there's two bounce zones here. So what I'm looking for, so again, for me, plan A is basically looking to long up a couple of strong altcoins in this play. There's no super big reason for me right now to say we are 100% going down, bear, altcoins will go never, right? There's nothing actually really indicating that for me, other than we knew a couple RSIs were getting to the top, and we knew that there was going to be a slight delay over the last week or two. We spoke about this. We spoke about the weekly RSI at the top, right? We spoke about these things, but now after a couple of days, daily stocks are getting to the bottom, right? Which means we should see a temporary bounce incoming over the next couple of days. And then what's very likely is a push up, push down, and then this. Now, let me tell you the story of what I see next, right? Is this push of here, weekly. Now, here's the weekly stochastic RSI. Now, this bad boy is still got to go down a little bit more. It's not promised to come down just yet, because there are times we kind of hover and sit here, and it tends to do it when it gets to the top, right? But coming down here and doing something like that is an option, right? So what that does for me is basically saying, hey, in the interim now, don't be surprised if we do see a bounce, right? So we go back over here to the daily. The daily saying, hey, there's a bounce, right? Then there's a pullback. Then there's another push, right? That gives the time for the weekly stock to start coming down a bit and then start to look to push up. So what I'm looking for this week specifically, taking off of that information over there, right, is I'm looking at the sense of us having a bounce. So let's go in over here, go back to the chart here. It's us having this bounce over here, push up, trickle down, push up, right? That for me is the play that I'm basically focused on over this next little while, right? And that's the stories that I'm kind of seeing. Now, again, support areas over here, and we're busy just fighting the support zones, and it's the pullback zone now, right? But that's the play. So everyone's aware that that's currently what trades and thesis and all these different things that I'm taking things off of. That's the play. That's the vision. That's what I'm trading towards, right? Now let's speak around catching the buy zones and catching the right coins, right? That's the play that I'm focused on. Okay. Now we drop in here. We get into the 4 hour. Okay. So now we know that. I'm now going to zoom in. So the first thing I wanted to see was we had this dip off that happened on Friday. We then had the bounce. And I said, guys, we're looking for a higher low now. Right? We had a slightly higher high here, tapped into trend, okay? And it told me that we weren't ready to bounce just yet. So now what I'm looking for is a very strong key Fibonacci point, right? And it's basically telling me that we're looking at anywhere in this area over here, and there is a possibility here. After that, I'm looking for a break of the trend, right? Which means as we are seeing this pullback now into zones, I'm looking for something like this. That is the play that I'm looking for, right? The zones over here, which means as we're approaching here, I'm treating it as a kind of view of to say, okay, there are two big zones, and I am committing, right? I'm committing. I know thesis. I know the views, right? This is the plan that I built. I know anything below here is invalidated, and thesis has to change. Till then, I got to commit to it. So now if I got to commit, and I got two big areas of where I got to commit to, right? It basically just gets me to think of, okay, Sheldon, you need to enter two parts to this trade. You need a starter position and you need a confirmation position, right? There's two areas here. If I buy here and I put a stop here and I wait, right? What can happen? Price can go down, stop me out, firstly, right? Secondly, it can go down and then go up. Now, if it goes down further, what am I losing? I'm losing future gains, right? Because I don't have any money to buy cheaper, because a push from here to here is 1%, 2%, and a push from here to here is 3%. So ultimately, I'm missing basically double the gains, specifically if you do, let's say, leverage or any type of trading, but I'm losing gains by not having money to buy cheaper. Not that things are invalidated, things are shift, all these different types of things, right? So for me, the first buy is here, start a position 30, 40%. Get something in the trade, so in case this happens, right, which is the third play that can happen, we're not promised this entry, right? This goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Now I got something here, I can add the rest over here. Gives me a good average entry position. Because why is it so important? We have to now really get good at trading, right? For those that did think it was going to be easy, and you know what? There are times that it's easy. I think high time frame is quite easy if you're very patient. I suppose being patient is not the easiest thing ever, okay? But when it comes to making money easy, right? The truth of the matter is those who are left in this market right now, we still got some grind to do, and it ain't going to be easy, which means we become traders, right? And trading can become easy once you've made the decision that you're becoming a trader, right? So the way you kind of look at that now, okay, guys, in the next 5 minutes, I'm jumping straight onto WEEX and I'm pumping the altcoin charts. We got many, many, many altcoins to talk about. I just want to explain something in thesis because it's important, right? So the first thing, which is quite simple, rule number one, right, is to enter and be happy with your risk, right? So you got your entry and you have your risk, which means you need to automatically accept the stop loss hit, okay? Now, a way to make this easier is to not put as much in the beginning. So if you're wrong, you lose on 20% of your money, you don't lose on 100% of your money, right? You lose on 30%, 40% of your money, you don't lose on 100% of your money, right? So the key here, right, is a starter position, entry, risk, right? Then step number 2 is remove risk. Start removing risk, right? And step number 3, right, is now add risk, right? And then it shifts to the point of, okay, then remove risk, or I'll explain it in thesis now, remove risk and add risk. You have so many tools to keep doing this, right? But that is the key here when it comes to the trade setups, right? So when it comes, and it's so important you guys listen to the show today and you lock in on this stuff, because no more screwing around anymore. We got to be traders. We got to man up now, maybe we call it in that type of sense, and make money in this damn market. But it means we have rules, we have systems, we have structures, and we got to stick to them, right? The more we do of that, I promise you the results will come. So again, if price is going down and there's 2 areas of where we can bounce, we start here, we put a stop loss here, right? And we start with 30% of the position. Therefore, if we're wrong, the risk is 2%, but because we only have 30% in, we're only losing 0.7%, right? Price goes down to the next area, right? Gives me an opportunity to buy again, put the stop loss in, 30%, right? Then what's the next step? Price goes down, bounces, breaks trend, shows confirmation. What's the first step? Take the damn stop loss from here and move that stop loss up, right? Now the stop loss is up on the break of that trend, right? You add more money to the position, right? You're removing risk. You're now adding more to the position. After that, we start to break out and push, right? Get that stop up, get it up, add the rest in, fill your entire position, and then wait out for the trade. Then what you have is a couple of rules, couple of sense of you have an idea to leave your trade to play out and trust your thesis, right? Or you have a secondary approach where I do have my thesis, but I do also want to make sure that I don't lose or I do make money no matter what. It all depends, right? Some trust the thesis, some want a backup, right? And a backup point of view means keep moving that stop loss up. Now, the downside of that is it can do that and continue. You need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with that risk over there. Nonetheless, you made money, right? Wait for the next good entry again, right? Stay focused, stay nimble, stay sharp, right? If it comes to the pros and cons of leaving your stop loss at entry, right? And price goes and does this, you round trip. Now, end of the day, did you lose money? No. Okay, you actually maybe made a tiny bit by putting a stop loss slightly above entry, right? The pros to that is the trade plays out and you make the whole amount, right? These are certain things you need to apply before you click that damn button today and you open up, right? You start to have these ideas and these different views, okay? But don't be afraid to enter trades anymore. Don't allow the past to get you to not have confidence in trading altcoins anymore, right? Whatever your thesis is, if you believe Bitcoin better than altcoins, no problem, lock it in on Bitcoin. But have your thesis, be strong, and don't in 3 months' time, if altcoins change your thesis all of a sudden, now you love altcoins again, right? You need to understand, accept the responsibility of where you're in right now, and build the structure around it, and commit. I want you to have confidence behind trades, behind entries, and I want you to go, 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 go. We got it? Yes. Can I have the likes up if that made any sense to you guys? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Okay, now, let's get into the altcoin. So I want to show you guys a couple of trades, 5 trades that I'm in right now. The first one is Arweave, baby. Arweave is starting to break some trends for me. It's a trade that I am starting to put my first entry in, like I spoke about. Let's speak about it. So let's go through here. Let's do it over here on this chart over here. Okay, so let's go through. I want to show you guys Arweave. Okay, the big signs for me on Arweave. Firstly, high time frame, slowly starting to creep up for a nice, strong push to the upside. So let me make this bigger so I have all my tools. Can you guys see? Everything good? Okay. Amazing. Okay. Now, token had a good rally a couple days back, week or two back, pulled back, straight back into support. That's a no-brainer for me when I'm looking for entries. I'm looking for bounce zones in these areas over here, right? And then I'm looking for support. Why do I like this? Because risk reward is really good, right? Now, the second thing is, okay, yes, sexy, right? We could bounce. Not bad. Okay, cool. Now we zoom in and we obviously look to see, okay, what's a confirmation of that, right? And I want to show you guys what I'm seeing over here. Okay, now we zoom in 4 hour. First thing I see is 4 hour trend is breaking, right? Therefore, for me, I am starting up an entry. Boom, as you guys can see, I started up an entry over there at 2.18, right? There's my first entry over there. At the same point, I know we could retest any way back down over here at 2.135 to 2.14. Okay, so I have a zone. So again, what do I do now? 40% in, stop loss, back inside of the trend. Okay, that is the key over here. Now, what I then have is I have the next trend line, which is this bad boy over here. The reason why we are stopping and pausing here right now, right, is the main 4 hour trend. This for me is the daily trend. It's the confirmation trend. It's the market cycle. It's the exciting emotions. It's the depressing or the panic denial emotions. And then it's the depressing emotions. And now we're looking for disbelief into hope, right? I want to get back here on the green side. So I'm glad I never got in here and too early, unless it was spots and I gave it time and patience. When it came to trading, I have not traded this token much, right? But now we're getting to that point of showing a possibility of going into disbelief pump, right? And at the same point, if I look at the trade that we're looking for here, anywhere up here is anywhere up to the percentages, right, of up to 16% to mid-range and up to 30% back to the highs, right? So those type of gains intrigue me, right, and get me excited. So what do? I enter the first amount here, knowing there's a zone, there's a stop loss there, right? Now there's two ways. If it comes down, I'm not necessarily buying more, because what happens if I'm wrong, right? What happens if Bitcoin wants to just turn all of a sudden and shift all the way back down, right? Rather stop me out on 30, 40% right now, okay? But if I'm right and it closes and breaks outside this trend, I'm adding in the rest of the position, and I need to up this bad boy up. And I'll be upping it to the previous 4-hour candle. Once we're outside of that trend, we've had a 4-hour close, I'm moving the stop loss up, removing risk, and going into the trade. So what the trade setup looks like for me, guys, again, my entry zones are here. My stop loss, you take this bottom trend here. There's a wick. Don't count the wick. Why don't I count the wick? Because without the wick, I have 4 touches. With the wick, I have 2 touches, right? Screw the wick. Right, there we go. Okay, there's my stop loss over there. Boom, nice and simple. That's the setup. My TPs, mid-range is one of them, right? 2.3397, right? Area there. And then I do have the highs of 2.7. Again, what I'm doing is, this is no advice. This is no area. This is me sharing my chart, saying my information and trades that I am taking right now, and also teaching you guys the formulas of how I'm coming up with these tokens and trades. Okay, there is the first one. Weave. I'm in, baby. Now, let's figure out another one that I'm quite excited about. Is Mutable X token, just slowly starting to catch some rhythm, catch some strength, right? And one that I see popping at any point. Now, what intrigues me about this token, right, is firstly when it comes to the daily and higher time frame, right, we have finally already put in a decent new high, right? So something that was really downtrending a lot. Okay, we put in a good high. Therefore, as we come down, I'm now looking at a higher low and a trade back to the top, right? Which is something, again, just zoom out and see where we're at. Long way to go, right? Very good possibilities that it could happen. And that's up to 30%. Okay, so the Mutable X trade that I'm prepping on here now is like, okay, that's the daily thesis. Cool. Now we zoom in and we look at what's the opportunities I am seeing right now. Okay, so for me, it's quite simple. If we go here, we have this wedge that's currently in play. No, go back here to 4 hours. There you go. Okay, this is what the wedge looks like right now. There's the top. There's the bottom. By the way, guys, inside of Sniper Club, let me show you here. Okay, I have posted all these setups and charts. You guys can go check it out. You can join club. There's a link below in the description. You can get in with the WEEX link, right? Get a WEEX link. Remember to join the competition that we are in right now. I have taken these trades now on the competition, right? And you can get in for free into the Sniper Club. Okay, you'll find those setups from today, and you'll find a video explaining the trades around 12, 13 minutes of there. Okay, so for me, this one's quite simple. Starting position up to 30, 40%, right? Over here, stop loss at the bottom of these areas here. Where am I going to add more, right? Is the break of this top trend over here. I'm looking anywhere of a push up to the mid 18 cents, and I do the areas of 20 to 21 cents as well. Good opportunity for me, good token, and one that I'm seeing to move, and risk rewards looking really good right now. Okay, now let's fly through the next ones. The other ones are the similar ones that I've spoken about many times. Okay, and ones that I just love trading so much. I've entered a Solana long, right? Sol is a little bit slightly different. There's 2 entries on Sol. Okay, all depending. Okay, let's just zoom in here. Okay. As you can see, I've traded Solana a lot. A lot of action on Solana. Love it to bits. It's my token of choice. Okay. Then if we go into Sol here, same thing. We have the wedge. Okay. So as we drop this wedge here, just get it in here. Boom. I started my position here. I got a little bit of a busy day. So for me, getting something in with 30, 40% and waiting for confirmation to buy the rest in. That is my strategy for the day. Okay. But just to show you guys the buy zones here, this can come any way down to these areas over here of 83. And it's the buy for me. Stop loss around 82.5, right? Once you break the top, I'll add more to the position, add more to the trade. All right. That for me is the game plan when it comes to this. Okay. Now, next one. Oh, where are my targets? Again, mid-range, 90 cents, $90, and I got $96. I'm just looking at a mid-range and higher point there. Let me quickly explain to you the strategy that I'm going to use, right? So if this starts to play out, starts to trickle up, starts to push up, right? By the time we get to 90, I'm going to TP 50% of the trade, and I am going to put my stop loss at mid-range, right? At a smart point under support, okay, to hold for the secondary. If I'm happy with the cash, I will TP the entire trade. Okay. Again, come to tomorrow's show, and I'll update you on that. Okay, Sui. Let's go through Sui. Yes, Bob, what's up? Let's go. Okay, guys, Sui is trickling down. Look at that. All right, big flag. So the first entry that I'm looking at now, it's a starter entry, okay, is basically the double bottom. All right, so we know all these patterns. We're looking for a double bottom, and we are at support. So that's the first play. Put a stop loss below, take one entry here, okay? If this gets stopped out, right, I'm literally waiting for the 4-hour trend to break. So just to show you guys here, let's put the trend all the way from the top. I'll wait for that trend to break. Okay, but this for me is a trade that I really want. This is a trade back up to the 1.3 to the 1.5. I actually think there's new highs incoming on Sui. But I think the monthly is looking really good. I think volume's starting to enter a week or two back. Right, it's one of the juicy tokens for me. And this is one that I'm starting to build up. So again, 20, 30, 40% in these zones over here. Your risk right now, if you entered right now, is around 1.5%, excluding whatever leverage you're using. Right, if you're using leverage, this is the token that I'm loaded up on. Then the last one, guys, is Chainlink. Chainlink is my smaller position, right, to the rest of the tokens. Oh, what's going into profits here? Oh, Arweave. There we go. Go, Arweave. Go, baby. Let's go. Okay. Nice 4-hour break there. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. We're going to start getting a little bit more into this trade. Let's get some more money into this trade. Let's go. Let's go. There we go, Arweave. Send it. Come on. Let's give this a sec. Let's give it a sec. Let's give it a sec because I might do a stop loss update live here with you guys. Okay, so let's double check. I think there's a great move incoming, if I must be honest, guys. Okay, so I want to see. It's a good move incoming here. Okay, so there's some turbulence. We want to get through 2.28. 2.28. Then there's a push up to 2.4. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. Guys, is there any other tokens you're seeing moving right now? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. I'm just watching this for a second just to see. Okay, so what I am going to do, just in case this shifts here, we need to be traders here. I'm going to move the stop loss under the 618. Just in case. Okay, so reduce some risk. I did add a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's Arweave. Chainlink, is anything interesting on Chainlink? Chainlink is like one of the smaller bags right now. For me, it's a starter entry. It's not breaking any 4-hour trends just yet. Right, we're on 618. That's where for me is an entry, stop loss under the zone over here. So this I'd probably say, if I had to rate the trades here, I do think Arweave's leaning into close number one with Immutable X. I think those two are like kind of my ones right now. However, I think Sol, Sui, and Chainlink are going to move, maybe with a little bit more patience. That for me is kind of the play when it comes to the patience game. Okay, do I have stop losses and everything? Yeah, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss. Okay, I got stop losses. Trader stop loss, guys. It's important. Okay, now Filecoin. I'm hearing about Filecoin. I spoke about Filecoin. Is this bad boy ripping? Let's go through it. We spoke about File, guys. It's actually not a bad entry, guys. It really isn't. Why am I saying that? Because we are just popping out of resistance, which technically means we are sitting now in support, right? Now, when it comes to risk on this token, right? We are looking at a couple of things. Short term, you can have a tight stop for some live in case it pops right now. But realistically, you want to give this thing a little bit of space when it comes to stop loss, right? So for me, if I look at something like I want to trade this, let's just zoom in here and just see where we're at. It looks good, guys, for a starter entry. For a starter entry, give it some space. Once it breaks through the highs, move the stops up. Let's look at the reward of this thing, of where we're looking at going. Okay, so pop a fib on here. Okay, so again, mid-range and highs. Right, those are basically, there's also this area here. These are two good areas of where we can pay attention to for where this can push up. Right, so again, get something in here. You know what I personally do here? Just my strategy that I do here. I'd use less of my money, more leverage, right? Put a stop loss in and make sure that I'm keeping more of my money. So I still get a bit of size to the position. Okay, but I'm not losing a lot of my capital. Right? That's my kind of strategy that I would pay attention to on something like this. But it does look good. TPs are 1.15 and 1.25. Okay, next one. Let's go. Coty. Again, I think it's incredible high time frame entries, just not the most bullish token today. Therefore, well, why? Because it lost that, right? However, there is some long opportunities incoming. Looks like the long opportunities lower down. Does look like we're looking at down here as some long opportunities. Okay. For now, that's support. Doesn't mean that that's likely where it's going to go. Okay, but I want to show you guys why this could be a good trade. Incredibly clean trend. So break of that trend is my signal to buy in the zone, bounces, breaks the trend, go, or even if it starts to break the trend, because we're not promised the support over here. We are at 618, right? A good entry. So track that trend. I think it's a great risk to reward trade incoming over there. ICP, I saw that ICP's had a good day. Good day, 9% up so far. Okay, my Alweave is the first green one. Okay, ICP. Let's go through it. Okay, so ICP is good. It's not the best entry right now. If we look at the trend, what I kind of see happening here for now is a push like this, something like that. Right? Might even go a little bit deeper on that pullback over there. So there is a TP on this trade, in my opinion. It's basically that top trend. Right? The TP is around 3.8. Okay. When it comes to entry, though, because stops will be pretty large right now, you got massive stops. So if I'm interested in getting this, again, high time frame, I think there's a lot of potential. If I'm interested in getting this, I'm looking to try catches around the low 2.8s. Right, that for me is like a nice entry with a stop loss around 2.65 for the push up to 3.6, 3.7. Right, alt season. I think it's alt legs, guys. I think it's alt legs. I think it's opportunity. I think we need a brain reset today. I think we've got to pump ourselves up. I think you've got to remove any weight in your life that's not necessary to you right now. Something that I'm really doing. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm feeling like Sheldon a couple of years ago when everything was like super exciting, you know. I had to go through quite a bit of a rough patch to get back to this again, and it's real. You guys have seen many times I've kind of popped in and be like, hey, I'm like, I haven't been feeling to think like I've had to go through the hardest war of my life over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, by far the hardest. So I think there's like super like good internal things that have been changed right now, and I'm just finding happiness through it, which is really cool. And I'm ready to get back to the markets and the trading. You know, I just had to clear a lot of weight. So things are looking good. Lots of love to you guys. Thank you for everyone that's been sitting and supporting and continuing through. I know it's been tough, crazy periods, but let's keep going. Let's keep thriving. And lots of love to you guys all. Now, quick update before I jump off. Train the competition, guys. There's a link below. 4 days left. Let's go. Let's push. Let's drive. Right. Then what we have is a survey below in the description. Right, of what charts do you want me to see on Wednesdays on the WEEX platform. We have gold, we have altcoins, we have all these different things. You'll find it below in the description, right? Here's the survey. Go fill out so that I can chart your guys' altcoins. What altcoins do you want? Do you want stocks? What do you want? Right? Subscribe to the WEEX channel. Subscribe to my Sniper trading channel. and then have a great day. Lots of love. See you guys tomorrow. No, I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.